Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this series of live interviews which we are covering from COP17 Durban of the UNFCCC. Today we have with us Mr. Ali Mohamed, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Kenya. Welcome, sir.
No, thank you very much.
Sir, if you can start off by telling us what's Kenya's stand in the ongoing COP17 talks.
Well, Kenya's stand is same as the African stand, and the position that we are taking here as Kenya and as Africa is climate change is already having serious implications for our development paths. We need action now. It's important that the global community comes together and reaches an agreement to reduce the accumulation of greenhouse gases, which is impeding development options for many persons or societies in the world.
So, sir, there have been talks of that the number of CDM projects and the number of POA projects also to a certain extent is quite low in Africa. So, what is your government doing to try and boost the number of CDM and POA projects within Kenya?
I mean, the whole structure of the flexible mechanisms that was agreed under the Kyoto Protocol was already disadvantageous to countries in Africa because it was intended to help the major emitters initially because it was largely in favor of big economies, and Africa's economies were more agro-based. So there is certainly need to relook at the modalities and ways the CDM has operated. But more importantly and fundamentally is the whole infrastructure or architecture that has allowed CDM to be in place, which is the Kyoto Protocol, is already in big jeopardy or in big doubt now. And so the position of Kenya and the position of Africa is whilst the flexible mechanism and the carbon credits and carbon financing that has evolved through the Kyoto system has had some positive impact, it will not be possible to continue without the Kyoto mechanism. We are aware there are countries that are pushing for the mechanism to continue without necessarily being party to the second commitment period, and we are saying that you cannot have your cake and eat it. The countries must take obligations and commitments under the second commitment period in order for them to benefit from the flexible mechanisms established under the protocol.
Sir, there's also a lot of talks going on between that Kenya is now trying to develop the geo-hydro power also, the geothermal energy in the Rift Valley. So can you share something about this project with us?
Well, climate change is, as I said earlier, affecting the development options of the country, and in the past Kenya relied heavily on water energy, which is hydro energy. And because of the worsening impacts of climate-related weather changes, the reliability of the hydro systems has gone down immensely. And therefore, we are forced to look for other options. Of course, the other options are going for fossil fuel-based energy generation or to use renewable energy generation. And renewables, luckily in our country, we are blessed by having a number of renewable sources. Geothermal energy is one of such. The others, of course, is solar as well as the wind energy. And the government is investing heavily in geothermal energy production. We have an established potential of between 9,000 to 17,000 megawatts of geoenergy. And we do hope that if we fully develop this, we will be entirely renewable energy-based economy in Kenya. And that is the direction the Kenyan government is taking.
That's very interesting to hear about the geothermal energy in Kenya. So, sir, looking forward, it's the European Union, or rather the European Commission has said that from 2012 onwards, only the LDC countries from Africa will be able to submit the CERs. But Kenya is not an LDC. So what is your opinion on this entire dialogue which is going on with the European Union?
We have already engaged with the European Union on this matter. We think it was not good policy that the European Union limits the CDMs, CERs only to LDCs. We understand, of course, where they're coming from, the distortions that some of the large emerging economies have created with regard to CDMs may have informed the position Europeans have taken. However, countries like Kenya, who are not major emitters and not major economies, and who are not also LDCs, lose out. And we are in dialogue with the European Union to see how Kenya will continue benefiting from the CER. We do hope that we shall reach some agreement with the Europeans on this matter, but it is certainly an unfair position that has been taken by the Europeans insofar as a country like Kenya get locked out.
Sir, is there any upcoming event where Kenya will again put up this point with the European Commission? Any upcoming event or visits by the Kenyans or the European Commission to Kenya which is planned in the short-term future?
We've already engaged with the EU mission in Nairobi. We will have bilaterals here in Durban also between the ministers representing Kenya government as well as the ministers representing EU. And I'm confident that we will be able to dialogue and reach some agreement on the way forward on this matter.
Sir, there are also a number of RED projects, RED Plus kind of projects which are being talked about in Kenya. What has been your experience as a government official administering these projects? How successful, or what are the issues with RED Plus projects in Kenya?
We are very excited that the opportunities that are coming up with the RED Plus mechanism is providing good possibility of ensuring environmental integrity as we address issues of sustainable development and poverty alleviation. And it is clear RED Plus mechanism has significant possibilities in this regard, and we are happy that in Kenya the first two projects in the world were from Kenya. The communities who are involved in this mechanism in the RED Plus project in Kenya are relatively happy. I think because it's relatively new, because I think one year, 1.5 so far, and so it's still in the early days, but they have already started seeing the fruits of that that project. We are, of course, trying to engage with particularly the Europeans as well as the other developed countries who are given the CRs, that the RED Plus needs to be considered into the compliance mechanism. Currently, the only mechanism where RED Plus is considered is in the voluntary system, because there's big price differentials between the two. So it will be very good if it was considered as part of the regulated markets. It may not be possible to arrive on that decision here in Durban, but I'm sure over the years, in the next few meetings and COPs, hopefully we'll be able to achieve that.
Sir, these are also on the NAMAs then. Has Kenya officially approached any countries for finance of the NAMAs?
Yes, we are in discussion with several of our development partner friends, the Japanese, the French. A number of the NAMAs can also be considered to be adaptation plans, because the energy that we just spoken about is also, not the energy, the geothermal, is both adaptation to our climate situation and mitigation, which is also NAMA. So for us, both of it could be taken on both sides, and we are happy that a number of our development friends are eager to partner with Kenya in this regard. We are currently looking at ways and means of addressing the challenges of kerosene in the country. because of its contribution to environmental degradation, ill health, and other disasters. And we will be submitting a number of projects to our development partners. Yeah.
Okay. Right, sir. Another question which then comes to mind, Mr. Mohammed, is that suppose that if Kenya is present over there, and there are a number of LDCs countries as well within Africa. So is Kenya also entering into some sort of collaboration with the other LDC countries in Africa and approaching some of the developed countries for funding?
Well, in all our neighbors in Kenya are LDCs, from Somalia in the east to Ethiopia, Sudan, South, Uganda, Tanzania, and so we are bound to enter into agreements of course, trading agreements and so on. In East Africa, we have the East Africa Community, which brings together 5 partner states of the East Africa. Of course, Kenya is the only non-LDC country, so we have a number of linkages and partnerships and trading agreements. So we are working together with all our neighbors, and we are bound to work with them. But with respect to the issue of carbon financing and climate-related projects, again, it's difficult to put boundaries on environmental issues because we have a number of ecosystems that are cutting across between one neighbor and the other. I mean, the famous Masai Mara of Kenya and its continuation towards in Tanzania into Serengeti is one such, and all those ecosystems could be looked at. In Turkana area, there's a big lake, and all the water system, not all, but the large part, 90% of the water comes from the Ethiopian highlands and so forth. So there is definitely a lot of regional issues that need to be looked at, and all areas are affected by climate change in similar conditions. As you will know that Kenya and the Horn of Africa region suffered very severe drought effect this year, the Horn of Africa crisis. So it's necessary for us as countries of the region to work together and address the common challenges that we are all experiencing and realizing it.
So you said that geothermal energies are part of the NAMAs in Kenya. Can you share with us some of the other NAMAs which Kenya has proposed?
Well, I had said geothermal we consider it both as a NAMA, as an NAP. National Adaptation Plan, because we are trying to adapt to lack of energy arising from reduced hydro flows, river flows. So for us, first and foremost, we see it as an adaptation program, but of course, in the process, the investment in the renewable energy is definitely reducing emissions into the atmosphere. So it's both. Now, on the other numbers, the transport sector. Transport sector is a very important player in the greenhouse gas contributions and so forth. Kenya is a relatively vibrant economy with large middle class, and and also rapidly urbanizing. So transport is a challenge area. Of course, we are a hub nation with respect to air travels, as well as seaport travels. So that is also one area that we are looking at. Agriculture is another possibility area, although generally agriculture is more of an adaptation sector than mitigation sector. We don't want agriculture to be categorized with mitigation, although it has positive effects also on reducing greenhouse gases.
So thanks a lot, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule for this interview. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Asante sana.